Imagine today you're off work and you feel like enjoying your beautiful home. You turn on your nice flat screen television and then you want to look at Netflix. You're tired of your favorite shows, so you want to wander into new territory, but a show catches your attention. In the description of the show, it talks about a woman who called the police because of a possible intruder. She calls the police, and in the show, well, she suffers something severely at the end. You watch it, and it comes true to form. But something like this only happens in Hollywood, right? Not even Hollywood scriptwriters can come up with such a thing because it's so childish and immature. But in fact, it did happen in Springfield, Illinois. And today we're talking about the sad case of Sonya Massey, who called the police because she figured that somebody was trying to break into her house or someone was around her house. Now, at the car or around her car was a broken glass, which we'll get to that in a minute. And so the police were called. And one of the officers responding to that call was Mr. Sean Grayson. Now, I won't waste your time. We all know what happened with the interaction. He comes in the house. She rebukes him in the name of Jesus. There's an alleged water throwing attempt on him. He shoots her. She's gone. But wait. Rewind! Before I get into that, I want to talk about some of the people who have commented negatively about this situation. One of those people is Tommy Sotomayor. What did Tommy Sotomayor post? He says this: after all the lies blacks, Democrats, and liberal media have told about what happened to Sonya Massey, I decided to show you that she did in fact throw a large pot of boiling hot water at the cops before being watch, and can you tell me why they're openly lying about what happened? Now, so many people were triggered by what Tommy said, but I won't even deal with that right now because it's not important. Another supporter of Tommy, Myron, says, Tommy telling the truth as usual. Boiling hot water is definitely classified as a deadly weapon, and this woman threw it at this cop after being warned not to. This is a clean shoot, and I'm shocked he was actually arrested thanks to the liberal media putting pressure on the prosecutor's office. If he takes this to trial, he will win. This was a dog and pony show arrest with no chance being proven guilty behind a reasonable doubt to keep the masses from rioting. Now, I have watched the video, and of course, I don't see anybody attempting to throw anything. But I do see an officer who was upset that a black lady or a black woman says, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. That's what I see. I see somebody getting very upset about that. But let's talk about Officer Sean Grayson for a second. Here is what one particular specialist said about the issue.
Sonya Massey called 911 to report a prowler outside of her home, and Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson and his partner showed up. You see them outside and then inside her house. Mistake one, according to University of Pittsburgh School of Law professor and use of force expert.
Never had to happen.
David Harris.
The whole encounter could have ended on the front porch.
Deputy Grayson eventually instructing Massey to check on the stove. He says they don't need a fire while there. That's when things take a turn. Massey turns off the stove and picks up a pot. Harris calls this the pivotal moment.
She simply says, while she's holding this pot of water, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. This is not a threat. This is not a sign of danger. But this causes one of the deputies to pull his weapon.
Deputy Grayson, who raises his gun. Massey is seen apologizing and ducking for cover. That's when he shoots her. 3 shots are heard.
It just gives no basis for using force, and certainly not deadly force.
Now, see, here's something that we're not even talking about. The reality is that this use of force expert says Officer Sean Grayson should not have been in the house at all. There was no need for him to come in the house. I have had several times police officers come to our residence in Sacramento, California, and there be a situation that they will knock on the door. They will say, hey, what's going on? And they will give a welfare check. They will take some information. Very rarely will they need to come into the house. in to interact with anyone, and they're on their way. There was no reason for Mr. Sean Grayson to go into the home as it was. It just wasn't at all. No reason to. But yet Myron and Tommy Sotomayor would make you believe there was a reason why he should have been in the home. In the reality, that was bad policing, period. This is a guy who's not a very good police officer. So if he never went into the house, he's not in trouble, she's still living, everybody's okay. But guys, there's something else that's wrong. Look at this guy's past.
Records show the former deputy who shot Sonya Massey worked for multiple departments in the state of Illinois in just a handful of years. Senior investigative reporter Paula Vassan delves into how law enforcement officers in the state of Illinois are tracked. Paula.
Well, legal experts tell us the state of Illinois has something Missouri does not have, a way to search for police officers to check their work history. It shows former sheriff's deputy Sean Grayson worked for 6 different agencies in the state of Illinois in just 4 years. But the public website does not show the full picture, revealing hired and separation dates without explanation. State records show 30-year-old Grayson hopped around as a part-time officer at 3 small departments. He had a full-time job at a 4th department and worked at 2 sheriff's offices, all of his jobs in central Illinois. We've also discovered he had 2 misdemeanor DWI convictions in Macoupin County. The I-team is working to find out what's being done in the state to prevent officers with potentially bad track records from bouncing around. Industry sources tell us it's the responsibility of the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board to allow an officer to be hired somewhere else. The I-team has reached out to that board for an explanation into how Grayson kept getting hired. We're waiting to hear back. We've also discovered that in general, sovereign immunity in state law often prohibits negligent hiring cases against state entities like police departments. It means it can be easier for bad hires to slip through the cracks.
Okay, so as you have seen, this gentleman doesn't make a lot of good decisions. He himself, as a police officer, get this, has 2 DUIs, or in the state of Illinois, DWIs. He seems to have a very shoddy work record. He's been, in 4 years or 6 years in multiple different places as a police officer, and that shows bad decision making. And third, for those of you who have seen this interaction, was his life in danger with boiling hot water? First of all, Mr. Sean Grayson was not even the first officer that was in front. From what I can see, he came in back with a gun. And even if it was a gun using deadly force, why wasn't it a taser? If she were to throw hot water on somebody, which clearly she didn't, it looks like she was throwing her mitts that she had in the video, from what I can see, from the angle. My eyes are not that great, but I can definitely tell you that she was not trying to throw any water on the guy. So was his life in danger? I would say no. There is no way you can tell me for self-defense his life was in danger. Now, for her to say she rebukes an officer in the name of Jesus, I don't know why she said that. I don't know what she was trying to prove by that. But what I can see is this. Once she had the hot water, she goes down, she kneels down, okay? And is scared now for her life. That's what I see, all right? That's what I see. And these other guys want you to believe that it is okay to kill this lady. Now, listen, if you don't like the fact that you feel that she's not being respectful to the officer, that's one thing, okay? Now, to just say, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, it's odd to say to a police officer or anybody for no reason, right? But it's also odd to tell a woman, well, I'll shoot you in the face. What kind of officer talks like that? An officer who's racist and who don't like black people. If I'm not mistaken, Tariq Nasheed pointed out this. Suspected white supremacist race soldier Sean Grayson, who racially executed Sonya Massey, has the Tulkin Copt tattoos on him, and these symbolisms are also associated with neo-Nazi, white, you-know-what groups. Now, this is the real reality of it all. This is a person who dislikes black people, should not be a police officer because he is a racist. That's what it is. And then the guys who defend this, like Tommy Sotomayor, these guys are sick. Now, let me just tell you something. I've weighed in on police brutalities before. some that are justified. In my honest opinion, I don't even do it at all anymore. And the reason is, as a black person, yes, I've seen police brutalities that are justified. This ain't one of them. I've seen situations where brothers are shooting at the police. I've seen one of where people are attacking the police with knives and stuff. I've seen that. This is not it. This is a woman who, you know, might be a little hard to deal with for the officer, but that's in your training. You're supposed to deal with that. Shooting an innocent woman who's calling for help is stupid. Now his ass is going to go to jail, and these guys actually believe that he's going to get off. If he does get off, you will see the biggest riot ever in Springfield. And guess what? They wouldn't be wrong to feel that way. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, Shady Dixon, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.